Greetings, I'm Bairnt and welcome to the One-Stop Co-op Shop. Today we're going to be doing Arkham Horror, the living card game. This has been a request from our Patreons and they wanted us to do another Arkham Horror game, and I know the other guys have all done one, so I wanted to do one for you, but I'm not going to do a big campaign or anything. We're just going to do the one-shot scenario pack here, the Carnevale of Horrors. Now we are going to play co-op, so I'm going to be using two investigators. I'll show you who those are, set up the game, and that'll probably be the first video. If it's really short, we're just going to go right into the game and start playing. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited to bring this to you. This is one of my favorite games. I know a lot of people really enjoy Arkham Horror, the living card game, and so do I. Now, if you're excited to see if our two investigators can make it through the Carnevale of Horror, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop. So the first investigator we're going to look at is Mark Harrigan. We're going to be using this guy. Now, if I mispronounce his name, I apologize. My guitarist's name was Mark Harrington, so I used to play with a Mark Harrington for the longest time, so I have a tendency to call him that. So we're going to go ahead and look at what he's got. He's got 3, 2, 5, and 3. For those of you that don't know much about Arkham Horror, I'm not going to be explaining too much of the game. I'm expecting a lot of people to already know how to play this, but I will be slowly going through the first couple turns, but I do want to show you what everybody has, and we'll be going through these a little bit faster than I normally do when I do games. So these are his upfront stats. This is his little power he gets, and it says here, after damage is placed on a card you control, draw 1 card, and also if he pulls this out of a bag, he's able to gain +1 damage. All right, he's got 9 health, 5 brain, and it says he'd burn the entire town down if necessary, but he wouldn't let those monsters take anyone else. Pretty cool guy. Now, every person has their own way of creating a deck, and they're always going to be a hand size or cards of 30. Now, his requirements are that he has to have these in here, and they're all right here. These are his required cards that he has. Now, also, on top of that, he's able to put in Guardian cards of level 0 to 5. Now, we're playing just at the basic level, so all these cards are going to be without any extra experience, but they are going to be level numbers 0 through 5. I could also use neutral cards, and I can use any tactics cards of level 0. So that's what he's able to do as he builds his deck. He's going to be a lot of fun to play. He's got his things here. These are all the cards I'm using for the events, and of course what he has. If you want a link to his deck, please let me know and I'll pin it in the description below. Otherwise, I'm just going to play it as we go, and hopefully you can see the cards right here. I'm not going to go through every one of them. Now, let's go ahead and look at all the assets he has. So here's a shot of his assets and his events. He's got some of these we have doubled up on. I've got a couple dodges. I've got a couple of these evidence cards in here. I've got a couple of if it bleeds in here as well. Now, I also want to tell you that my deck pool that I'm working on is 2 cores, all of Dunwich, and the core box for Corsica. I don't have any other cards. So if you see this deck and go, oh, why aren't you using that card? It's probably because I don't have it. Or of course, maybe I just didn't make a very good deck. We're going to find out. All right, here's a lot of our assets. We've got some guns. We've got a machete, a couple guard dogs. I've taken one of the beat cops. We have a flashlight. Let's see if we use it. And here's some of our skills. A couple unexpected courages, and overpowered and vicious blows. And then here, of course, I do have a tactics card. That's why I'm able to have this in my hand. We have a shortcut, and that's going to be his deck. Now we're going to go ahead and take his deck, and we also have to add one random basic weakness that we don't know what it is. So I've put that in there. We're going to shuffle this completely up, and we're going to be all set to be using Mark Harrigan. So here's our second investigator. We're going to go ahead and use her. She's a shaman. She's also a sorcerer here. She's got 5, 2, 3, and 3. Now, if you haven't noticed, both of our characters are not going to be very good at finding clues, so I'm hoping I'm adding enough cards in there that'll make that possible. Now, it says here, your assets with used charges enter play with 1 additional charge on them, so that'll be really good if we can get some stuff with charges out there. She also has a deck requirements just like everybody else. She can use mystic cards 0 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and cards that use charges levels 0 to 4. Also, any occult level 0 cards as well. She also has to have Spirit Speaker, Angered Spirits, and 1 random basic weakness. So we've got our Angered Spirits and Spirit Speakers here, and then here's the rest of the cards. We've gone ahead and grabbed some events. We've got like hypnotic gaze, and of course a couple of these are doubled up. Like I got a couple of ward protection, some blinding lights, drawn to the flame. I got one emergency catch down here. It's kind of glaring, I apologize. And we've got uncage the soul, moonlight rituals, and then here's a couple of our skills I decided to grab, a couple unexpected courage and defiance, and then here's all of our assets over here. And again, some of these are doubled up. We've got some rite of scrying, I got a couple shrivelings, a couple clarities of mind, ritual candles, scrying. We've got holy rosary here, Alyssa Graham. Hopefully she comes in really good. I'm really excited to use her. Arcane Initiate, and we got some arcane studies and forbidden knowledge. All right, we're going to go ahead and get these all shuffled up, and then we're also going to go ahead and add one basic random weakness to this deck as well. That's what we've got going for her. We're going to shuffle that up, and then we'll be ready to go. Now we're going to move into getting our game all set up for Carnival of Horrors. It can be played in one of two ways, as a standalone scenario or a single-side story slatted into your campaign. We're not going to do any campaign stuff. We're going to do this standalone scenario. So we're going to play with the standalone mode here, and we're going to be using the standard bag. I'm not doing hard. I am not the best at this, not to mention my card pool is not as good as everybody else's. So we're only going to play this with the standard mode. So this is what our bag will look like when it's all set up. These are the tokens that we're going to be pulling out, and they all are going to be in different numbers and different pictures and all that on them. Here's just an example of some of those tokens. They're going to all look like this, and when you draw them out, you're going to use what their modifiers are to prevent you or help you succeed in actually gaining successes in what you're trying to do. So I just want to let you guys know that this is what our bag is going to be for the standard scenario. And here we are. The Carnival is coming. Look, Sheriff Ingle insists. I know it sounds crazy, but that's really all there is to it. He sighs and sits back down, pouring a cup of joe for you and one for himself. A dame in Uptown spotted a cracked egg wearing a mask and holding the bloody butcher's cleaver, he says, monitoring to the black leather mask sitting on his desk. It has a comically long nose and a strange symbol scrawled in yellow on its forehead. So she calls it in. My boys and I picked him up on the corner of Stall and Garrison. The sheriff's jaw clenches and his brows furrow as he recounts the story. Fella did nothing but laugh as we slapped the bracelets on him. Called himself Zanny. Said nothing except the Carnival is coming, whatever the hell that meant. Wasn't until the next day we found the victim's body. Defense wanted him in straitjackets. We were happy to oblige. There isn't much time to spare. If your research is right, there is more to this case than meets the eye. This Zanny wasn't talking about Drake's Carnival, but rather the Carnival of Venice, which begins just before the next full moon. So that sets the stage for what we're going to be doing. Now we're going to go ahead and set it up. We're going to gather all the Carnival of Horror encounters set indicated by this icon, which is all found inside this standalone scenario. Also, we're going to choose one random location and remove it from the game. If it's San Marco Basilica or Canal side is chosen, randomly choose a different location instead. Then we're going to put the 8 locations into play in a circular formation. So we're going to see page 7 on how to do that. Each investigator begins play at San Marcos Basilica. Put Abbess Algeria de Bayuzi into play at San Marco Basilica, and I apologize, I totally probably butchered that name. Shuffle the 7-masked Carnival goers and put one into play at each location other than San Marco Basilica. Masked Carnival goers side face up. Do not look at the other side. Then we're going to go ahead and set these following cards out of play, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce them because I'll ruin every single one of those names. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter cards and build the encounter deck. So we're going to go ahead and mix these all up, and we're just going to go ahead and discard the bottom card and see what it is. We have gotten rid of, we can't get rid of that one, so I'm just going to put that back down because I can't get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and grab the bottom one. We've gotten rid of Academia Bridge. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to put the rest of these out here in a pattern that they show in the book, or on one of the cards, I should say, because we don't actually have a book for this. Just like that, we're going to place them around the table. And it's just like they showed us on the back of this card. Right here, it tells us to kind of make it like this. Now, the way this is going to work is it's got some really interesting rules that go along with it. Unlike some of the other scenarios you may have seen, location setup. In this scenario, locations are placed in a circle due to the parade doing the Carnival. Each location is connected only to the location in the clockwise direction. That means the investigators and monsters can only travel or count the nearest locations in the clockwise direction unless otherwise directed. So if we're here, we can only move in these directions unless something tells us differently. The next thing is that counterclockwise. Some cards instruct players to find the nearest location in the counterclockwise direction. This is an exemption to the above rule and should be followed as though locations are connected counterclockwise. Then of course we also have the last one here, across from. The location across from another location is the farthest location equidistant in both the clockwise and counterclockwise direction. For the purpose of this scenario, across from your location and across from you have the same meaning. So if we need to put something across from us here, it would go over here, here to here, here to here, and so on and so forth. So those are the rules about this scenario. That's a little bit different than some of the other rules you play with normally inside Arkham Horror. Now the next thing we have to do is set out our masked carnival goers. We're going to shuffle these all up, and I have no idea what's in these. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm playing this blind. I have never played this one before, so I'm really excited to play through this scenario with you. I've played through a lot of the campaign, but I've never played any of these side scenarios before, so this is going to be really cool. Now, of course, we don't put any at San Marco Basilica because that's where we're going to be starting. Instead, we're going to be placing her there, and I am not even going to attempt to pronounce her name because I did so bad the first time. So I'm just going to put that right there. All right. Now, of course, we do have to set these cards out of play, and then I think we're going to be all set to go. These are the remainder of the cards found in this scenario. We don't actually add any from any of the other packs of cards, so this is really a standalone scenario. It's really cool. Now we're going to go ahead and put our act deck up here as well, and then we're going to get our agenda out, and we're going to put that up on top as well. We're going to put it right there. Now we have our discard pile, and then of course we have our scenario card. Every card game comes with a certain scenario card that's going to tell you kind of what happens as you go. So this one, we're going to be on easy standard for sure. Now these are some of the extra tokens that are in the bag that are not numbers. And if those are drawn, these are the type of things that will happen to them. And we're going to go ahead and put this right up here and reference it when it happens. So we're all set. I'm going to read you the act and the agenda. The Carnevale conspiracy is our first act. It says the abbess addresses you privately. So, you know what's coming? You nod. Then you know what must be done. They are using the celebration as a sacrifice for their wretched masters. Bring as many innocents as you can here, where I can protect them. But beware, the creature's servants will try to blend into the crowd with their false masks. So for an action, the investigators spend one clue as a group. Look at the other side of a masked carnival goer at any location. Our objective, if there are a total of 3 innocence revealers underneath the act and or agenda deck, advance this card. All right, so our goal is to go find these 3 innocents and bring them back here. Now, no game would be complete without an agenda, which says the festivities begin. Last-minute ocean liner tickets from Boston to Italy set you back a fair bit of dough. But after a tense journey, you arrive in Venice. The Carnival has already begun, and the city is in celebration. Colorful confetti rains from above, covering the streets. Many revelers throng in the Piazza San Marco, the square outside the Basilica. The parade is to begin shortly. You find the nearest uniformed cabinere and show him a copy of the symbol you'd transcribed from Zanzi's mask. He pauses to decide your trustworthiness, nods, and escorts you into the basilica to see the abbess. So both our investigators are going to start right down here in San Marco Basilica. Now, all of our investigators start with 5 resources. I'm just going to go ahead and put his right up there. Then we get to draw 5 cards. Now, at any point, we can choose to mulligan some of these. And if we did draw weakness, we put it aside and draw a new one. So let's see here. We have found our guard dog. He's going to cost us 3, and he's an ally creature. When an enemy attacks, deals damage to guard dog. Deal 1 damage to that attacking enemy. And this is his health and sanity. So the guard dog can take damage and then gives damage back. Also up here, this is a fight skill. He's able to give extra cards to fighting if I decide to play it just for its value here, not if I decide to play the card out. You'll see how that goes during the playthrough. Also, we found, a cool gun. This is going to be so good. This has 6 ammo. I can spend 1 ammo to fight. You deal 1 damage for this attack. Okay, so normally you only do 1 damage each time, but this is going to give us an extra damage. Now, it doesn't give us extra bonus to fighting, but that's okay. He does some pretty good. Oh, we got the machete. Wow, we're loaded in weapons. Fight. I can get +1 for this attack. If you attacked an enemy that is only engaged with you, the attack deals +1 damage. So this again can also do +1 damage, but it also gets the +1 attack, which isn't too bad. Oh, and he got his actual card. Mark Herring deck only. If this skill test is successful during an attack, move 1 damage from Mark Herring to the attacked enemy. Oh, that's pretty good. Now, if I don't want to use this card for its bottom value here, I could play it for its skills over here if I want to at any time for myself or for somebody next to me or for somebody in the same space as me as well. Then we got prepared for the worst. I put this in my deck to help me get weapons, and we got 2 of them. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a weapon asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Okay, I think we're probably going to mulligan that card. So we're going to go ahead and set this card aside. We're going to draw another card, and we got his shortcut, insight, tactic, fast. Play only during your turn. Choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator to a connecting location. Oh, that'll be good. All right, we're going to go ahead and hold on to that card. So those are our 5 cards right there. We're going to go ahead and see what our sorcerer has, or sorceress, I should say. But before we do, I do have to shuffle that back into my deck. It can't just hang out over there. So we're going to shuffle this back up. So there we go. It's all shuffled up. Now, the one thing I didn't talk about was Sophie. He starts with this out. It's Mark Herring deck only again. Sophie cannot leave play. This has to be out at all times. And it says take 1 direct damage. I can do this as an action to take 1 anytime. This does not cost me one of my actions. Every investigator gets 3 actions a turn. This is just, I'm able to do that. And then you get +2 to your skill value for the test that I'm trying to do. But I have to take a direct damage to do that. Now, if I'm forced, if Mark Herring has 5 or more damage on him, flip Sophie. So if we ever take 5 damage, I have to flip this and we have to take the repercussions, which I'm guessing aren't good, because most things in this game, when they seem too good to be true, they usually are. So we're going to move over to our shaman. She, of course, gets her 5 resources and 5 cards, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see what she gets. She has got Blinding Light. It's a spell. It's evade. Now, it costs 2 to play. This evasion attempt uses willpower instead of evasion. If you succeed, deal 1 damage to the enemy just evaded. If any of these are pulled out of the bag during the evasion attempt, lose 1 action. Now, if you don't do it at the end, if you use it as your last action, it's probably not too bad. Defiance. Oh, it's our skill card. It says, before revealing chaos tokens for this test, choose one of the following symbols. I can use any of those symbols, and I can ignore the effect of the chosen symbol during the test, including its modifier. And look down here. It says, no. That's pretty awesome. All right. we got our shriveling card. This card is awesome. Look at this. Okay, it costs 3, and it has 4 charges. But because of her power, she gets 5 charges on this. I can spend the charge to fight, and using willpower instead of our combat skill, and deal +1 damage. Now, of course, if any of those are revealed again during this attack, I take 1 horror. That's not going to be too bad. But if you look, she's got 5 willpower. That's way better than her 3 fight. That's awesome. So she's going to be able to use a fight of 5. Oh, and it's going to be with the Holy Rosary. If I can get both these out, that's awesome. You get +1 willpower, just straight up. Now, man, now I should be fighting with 6. A 6 fight skill if I use my shriveling card. That's awesome. It says, whether focused through a mundane trinket or a mystical artifact, there is real power in faith all the same. That's pretty good. Oh, and we've got Uncage the Soul. Play a spell or ritual card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 3. That's amazing. Wow, we got probably the best starting hand you could possibly ever get. It says down here, the power seized her, made her shudder and spasm. Its energy united with hers, and then she opened her eyes. Oh, look, she's screaming. Roar. All right, that's pretty awesome. All right, then we got her Blinding Light. So I'm not mulliganing any of these cards. These are all pretty good cards. So we're going to go ahead and begin. We're going to use our round sequence card here, at least for the first turn, so everybody understands how it goes, and then I'll probably be not using this too much more. Now it says right here, investigation phase. Now it says up here, Mythos phase, but we skipped this during the first round, so we're not going to be doing that. It says each investigator is going to take turns and perform 3 actions. So we get to do 3 different actions. Now let's go ahead and look at our Abyss here. She has a skill that she can exhaust Abyss and move from her location to a connecting location, or to her location from a location connected to it. Any investigator may trigger this ability. Okay, so she can go ahead and, exhaust herself to move somebody if she wishes to. So that's pretty awesome. She's going to probably be doing that right away. Who knows? But I think we're going to get some stuff out here first. Now, I have to pick a lead investigator, and that's going to be the person that's kind of, if there's any cards that have to do with lead investigators, that's going to be the person in charge. Now, it doesn't mean that person always has to go first. We can always choose who we want to have go when we want to go, but once you start your actions, you have to perform your 3 actions or until you pass. And when you do, you're just going to be trying to flip your card over to show that you've completed your actions. So I think we're going to have Mark Herring be our main investigator, be our lead investigator, and I think he is going to take the first turn. So looking at our hand, I think the first thing we're going to do is we are going to play our machete. We're going to go ahead and put that out. That's going to be a pretty awesome weapon. It's going to cost us 3 resources to do that. That's the cost up here on the card. It costs 3. So we're going to pay the 3 resources to put that out. Now, of course, that does limit us with what else we can do when we want to actually pay something. Now, some other actions I can perform is I can draw a card with 1 action. I can gain a resource with 1 action. So if I really wanted to put out like the guard dog as well, I could grab a resource and play my guard dog. But I'm not going to do that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move around the board a little bit. But before we do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play this card as well. It says shortcut, insight, tactic, fast. Play only during your turn. Choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator to a connecting location. And so I can do that at any time on my turn using a fast action. The fast actions don't cost me any actual action. So he still has 2 actions left. It cost him 1 to put that machete out. So let's go back to the board and start moving our guys around. Now, before we move anybody, we do have to reveal the San Marco Basilica because that's where our guys are. It says right down here, the San Marco Basilica is connected to the location in clockwise direction. So like I said before, we're going to be moving in this direction all the time unless told otherwise. You cannot help but marvel at the basilica's opulence and towering presence. In the piazza outside, revelers dance and celebrate, oblivious to their peril. Let's see what's on the back. Here it is. All right, so this has a shroud value of 3, and there's no clues here, so we can't even really search anything here. And it says it's connected to location clockwise. It says place an innocent reveler in you control underneath the act deck out of place. So we have to bring them all back here like she's told us before. It said blessed and warded by the abbess. The basilica is about as safe a place as you can find in Venice, but it's not safe enough. All right, we're going to put that right down here, and now we're going to go ahead and use our card. We're going to use our shortcut card to move her over to this location over here, and then we're going to go ahead and reveal that one as well. It is our flooded square. All right, flooded square is connected to the location in the clockwise direction. I think they're all going to say that. As the rising tide of the Aqua Alta floods the square, you trudge through numbingly cold water. The parade continues across a makeshift wooden bridge that spans the square, too narrow for your comfort. All right, let's see here. It's got a shroud value of 4, and there's 1 clue per investigator. That's what the little symbol means. So there's going to be 2 here. It says automatically evade a non-elite enemy at the location in the counterclockwise direction. Group limit once per turn. All right, so we can do that, but I don't think it's really going to matter. All right, we have to find some clues. Now, that means there's 2 clues here, so we're going to go ahead and put 2 of them right up here, and we need to beat a shroud value of 4 in order to get these, and these guys are not that good at this. I was really hoping we'd find cards that would help us find clues, but sadly that is not the case here. So we're going to continue on. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and exhaust her to move him over here as well. So now both our investigators there, he's only used 1 action, and that was to buy the machete. So there's a lot of other actions we can do. Now we have to try to get this 4 shroud to get these clues, and we have to spend the clues to go ahead and unmask these carnival goers. But I don't know how we're going to do that with 4. That's ridiculous. I think we have to figure out a new strategy. Now, one of our options is we could just ignore this carnival goer, hope it's not one of the ones we're looking for, and just continue moving around the carnival. I think that might be what we're going to do because I don't really know how we're going to deal with 4. So he's going to spend another action to move over there. So that's going to be Mark's second action. And now we're going to be, what are we on? We're on the Rialto Bridge, and it says it's connected to locations. All right, the oldest bridge spanning the Grand Canal. It has endured for centuries, but even its stone may crumble should you fail. All right, hopefully we don't fail. All right, this is a little more doable. There's 2, and there's only 1 clue here, though. This is not per investigator, it's only 1. Venice Bridge. The bridge is connected to everywhere else. Forest. After you leave the bridge, lose 1 action. Oh, terrible. All right, that's just terrible. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put 1 clue on that location, and I think he is going to go ahead and maybe try to get that clue. Now the location has a shroud value of 2, and I only have a 2 intellect, so I'm not going to have a very good chance of probably making this, but I do have a trick. I've got Sophie here. Sophie allows me to take 1 direct damage, and I get +2 to your skill value for this skill test. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take 1 damage, and then it kind of is a real neat combo here. It triggers this. After damage is placed on a card you control, draw 1 card. So I control Mark Harrigan, so I'm going to be able to draw a card. So we're going to go ahead and draw a card. We got Let Me Handle This. Fast. Play after another investigator draws a non-peril encounter card, but before resolving the card's effect. you are considered to have drawn that encounter card instead. You get +2 to each of your skills while resolving the card's revelation effect. All right, we're going to go ahead and put that in our hand, and now we're going to go ahead and draw our token. Now we need to get hopefully something that will be able to make us pass that test. We have got a 0. Okay, so I didn't actually have to take the damage, but that's okay. We were able to successfully gain this clue. So after completing all 3 actions with him, we're going to go ahead, flip his card to show that we have completed his turn. So a lot of her turn, I believe, is going to be prepping things and getting them ready. The first thing we do is I'm going to play this Uncage the Soul. So I can go ahead and play a spell or ritual card from my hand, reducing its resource cost by 3. Well, this thing costs 3. I'm going to play this. Why not? I get 5 charges with this thing. That thing's awesome. Oh, I'm going to put 5 charges on it. Now, normally this only gets 4, but because of her secret power, she's able to put out 5 charges on that thing. So we're going to put this in our discard. Now we're going to go ahead and, I believe, play our Holy Rosary for our second action. We're going to put that out there as well by paying 2. So we've paid 2 for that, and we've paid nothing for that one. I've left with 2 cards in my hand, but I'm not actually going to use any of those cards. I think what we're going to do is we're going to move over with our other investigator. So just like before, he moved over here because I really don't think we're going to be able to obtain these clues right at this point. We might have to come back around, and if we do, this is going to be a really long game. But we're going to go ahead and just move over here and hopefully get this person. Hopefully that's not one we need. That's going to be the end of her turn, so she's going to turn over her marker, and she's done as well. So that's going to be the end of our investigation phase. We're going to move into the enemy phase. There aren't any out there, but enemies with the hunter keyword would move toward the nearest investigator. Each engaged enemy would attack if able. We don't have any of those, so we're going to go to the upkeep phase. We're going to reset our actions by flipping our mini cards. We're going to flip these guys back over to their other side so that we know that they haven't been used yet for this upcoming turn. Next, we're going to go ahead and ready all our exhausted cards. The only one we have is her. She's going to become unexhausted. And then we're going to continue on, and each investigator is going to draw a card and gain a resource. And of course, if we have 8 cards, we have to discard down to that many cards. So let's go ahead and see what our investigators get. So Mark's going to go ahead and grab a resource, and he's going to get a card. Let's see what we found. True Grit. Oh, this one's really good. True Grit may be assigned damage dealt to other investigators at our location. So I can actually take the damage that I'm being dealt to, since she only has 6 down there. And it says right here, it's just a flesh wound. That's awesome. Now I can pay 3 for this and put it out, and it's really just kind of an extra 3 health that we can use, and it even soaks up damage from our other investigator. All right, those are his card and his token. Let's see what we get for our shaman. So she's going to go ahead and gain a resource and a card. Let's see what we get. We got Alyssa Graham. Oh, this card is awesome. I get an extra +1 to my intellect, which I really need. And it says exhaust Alyssa Graham. Look at the top card of either of the encounter deck or any player deck. You may then add 1 doom to Alyssa Graham to place the looked card on the bottom of the deck. That's awesome. She costs 4, but look, we have 4, so I'm probably going to put her out. She's really good. Not to mention, she can soak up some horror hits, which are going to be really good for us. Sadly, she's got a ton of horror. It's the other guy. I wish could have more horror than this person, but that's okay. Okay, she's done. We're going to move into the next phase. So the next phase of our game is our Mythos phase. So we're going to place 1 doom on the agenda, advance the agenda if the doom threshold is satisfied, and then each investigator is going to draw 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. So we have our doom. We're going to place it right here on the agenda. Now it hasn't gotten to 8 yet, so we don't advance it. Now we're going to be able to draw 2 cards here. We're going to start with our investigator that went first. That's going to be Mark. He's going to draw the card first. He has found, what's this? Withering Appendage. He's a monster. Retaliate. After Withering Appendage attacks you, discard a random card from your hand. Oh, barf. When Withering Appendage is defeated, if the boss is in play, deal 1 damage to the boss. Oh, well, that would be really good. But we're going to go ahead and put this with our investigator, Mark, and have him engaged with that. So it's going to go right here, and Mark's going to be engaged with it. I'll just put it just like that to show that he's engaged with it, and we'll put her right next to it. There we go. And now we have to draw a card for our other investigator. And we have found, what's this? Abduction. Test 3. What is it? Looks like willpower. If you fail, you must lose either all of your resources or choose to discard an ally asset you control. Oh man, that's terrible. She's got 4 resources. I don't want her to lose that. Oh, barf. Now, one thing I could do is I could actually use my card I have up here. It's called Let Me Handle This, which means he would get +2 to his skill value, which bring his up to a 5. But actually, she's sitting at a better skill right now. She has +1 here, so she's going to have 6. So I'm going to have her just go ahead and take it. Now, of course, if she misses this, she loses 4 resources, which is going to be absolutely devastating. All right, let's see how we do. Oh, we got a little masked man. What the heck is that going to do to us? It says right here that he reveal another token. If you fail this test, draw the top card of the encounter deck. Oh, that's going to be horrible. All right, so we're going to keep this one aside. We're going to draw another token out of here. Okay, come on, something good, something good, something good. Oh, I threw it on the ground. What do we got? We got -3. I think we might still be okay. We have 5, 6, -3 is 3, and it says right here, test 3. So we did pass. So both these tokens go back in the bag, and I don't have to worry about drawing an additional encounter card because we passed the test. So we also get to keep our resources. Thank goodness. That'd be terrible if we lost them all. And now we're going to move into our investigators phase because that's the next phase of the game. So we're going to all take our turns and perform 3 actions. We're going to start with Mark again. Mark is going to go ahead and he's going to take his little bag here, shuffle it up. He's going to take this guy out. He's going to use his machete. He's got this machete, and it allows him to get +1 fight. And if the attacked enemy is the only engaged enemy with you, this attack deals +1 damage. And that's true. He's the only engaged enemy. So we're going to go ahead and draw in here and see what we get. We have found a -4. Oh no, that might not be enough to get this guy. Well, we got lucky because he's got a 5 and I get +1 for this. So that's 6 - 4 is 2, and his skill is only a 2. So we did actually beat him, thank goodness. Otherwise, he would have retaliated. That would have been bad news. Now, we did 2 damage, and he only has 2 health, so he is dead. He's going to go back up into the discard pile. So that's his first action, was taking out the withering appendage. With Mark's next action, he is going to spend all 3 of his resources to go ahead and put out his True Grit card. This card's really good. Now, it was a big debate if I should put him or the Guard Dog out. The Guard Dog is also really good. I don't know which one to do. I think I'm going to do the Grit because I can always put damage on it from Sophie, meaning that I'll be able to continue to draw cards, which is going to be pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and put that there and move on. And with his last action, Mark has the clue. He's going to use it here to spend 1 clue. Flip mask Carnevale goer over. If the other side is an enemy, it attacks each investigator at its location. Oh no, I didn't know it attacked each little investigator at its location. Oh, it could get both of us. This is going to be really bad. Please be an innocent. Oh, it is an innocent. Oh my goodness, that's really good. Okay, mental note, walk in there with 1 person and check them. Okay, now we have to parlay test 2 intellect to convince the reveler to follow you to safety. If you succeed, take control of the innocent. Forced. When the innocent would be discarded, place it underneath the agenda deck out of play. Each investigator takes 1 horror. Oh, yuck, I don't want to have that happen. All right, so in order to get this character, we have to test 2 parlay. Now, I don't have the greatest parlay skill. I only have 2 intellect on both of our characters. That's not a good way to start. Now, Mark has completed his turn. We're going to go ahead and flip his card and move over to her turn. The first thing she's going to do is go ahead and pay the 4 resources to go ahead and put out our ally. Since she's awesome, we're going to put her out right there, which means I automatically get +1 to my intellect right now. So I've got a 3 intellect, which is really good. So now we're going to go ahead and attempt to parlay with this character. We have 3 intellect right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my skill card, giving me an extra wild symbol. So we're going to have 4 intellect. And before the chaos token for this test, before I choose it, I have to choose one of the following symbols. I think we're going to choose, oh wow, there's a lot of these skulls in there. I think I'm going to choose the skull. The skull is the one I'm going to choose. Actually, the skull isn't too bad. It's only -2 to the test. So if I pull that, I still win. So actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with, what's this? -4, you fail. Oh, nope. And -3, you fail. Deal 1 damage. Oh, we're going to do this one. I'm going to choose that symbol right there. That's the symbol I'm going to choose. So we're going to go ahead and play that, draw into our bag here, and see what we get. Let's see what we find. We found a 0. All right, so we were able to take this innocent. Now, the innocent is not a ally, so you can have as many of these with you as you can. So I'm going to place this with our character, and we're going to continue on. Let's see here. She's done 1 action to buy Alyssa, 2 to parlay with her, and I think her 3rd action is going to be to move up there. She's going to move right up here and reveal the Bridge of Sighs. But as I leave, I'm going to have to lose 1 action. Well, that's okay. I'm out of action, so that's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and reveal the Bridge of Sighs. And it says, with a pang of discomfort, you imagine how disheartening the view would be from inside this enclosed bridge, looking out of its cramped windows. All right, Bridge of Sighs. Let's see here. It says, forced. After you leave Bridge of Sighs, take 1 horror. Oh, that's not going to be too good. Oh, but look at this. It has a shroud value of 1, and 2 clue tokens are found here. Wow, this isn't the Bridge of Sighs. This is like the Bridge of Dreams. Oh, my goodness. My guys are going to be awesome here. We can get both those clues. That'd be fantastic. All right. That's going to be the end of her turn. We're going to go ahead and flip this and put the innocent over on her player board. So we're going to go ahead and put this over here. We have our innocent, and since we've gone ahead and done everything with everybody, we're going to move into the enemy phase, which nothing happens. We're going to reset our characters, unexhaust all the cards, and we're going to go ahead and take a resource and a card. Now I'm going to take the resource, but before I grab the card, I'm going to use Alyssa here, because it says here, I can exhaust Alyssa Graham to look at the top card of either the encounter deck or any player deck. Then you may add 1 doom to Alyssa Graham to place the look card at the bottom of the deck. We're going to look at the encounter deck, because that's always the one that's really bad. Let's see what we found. We have found Watcher's Gaze, and this is going to be a test for Mark. Each investigator who controls an innocent must also perform this test. Each investigator who fails takes 1 horror. Oh, okay, I don't think that's too bad. There's probably a lot worse in the deck. So we're going to leave that on top. I'm not going to take a doom. We're going to take a resource and draw a card for her. She has got Forbidden Knowledge. Uses 4 secrets. If Forbidden Knowledge has no secrets, discard it. Exhaust Forbidden Knowledge and take 1 horror. Move 1 secret from Forbidden Knowledge to your resource pool as a resource. That's going to be really good, especially since she's got an abundance of horror right now. 8 here and 3 here from Alyssa. Now Alyssa is going to unready, and I've also got 2 up here on my Holy Rosary. So I've got a ton right here. And if I really wanted to, I could use the Innocent, but I don't think that's a really good idea. So she's gone ahead and finished up her upkeep phase. We're going to move over to Mark's. I know I kind of did them out of order, but since we were here putting all the stuff down, I just thought I'd do her first. So Mark here is going to go ahead and take 1 resource, and he gets a card. He got a guard dog. Well, that's our second guard dog. That's awesome. Well, I can always discard it to gain help and a symbol for that attack action if I want to. But now he's got all those cards. 2 guard dogs. Really? I don't need 2 guard dogs. All right. Well, that's okay. We're going to move into the Mythos phase. So at the beginning of the Mythos phase, we're going to go ahead and gain a Doom token on here. Now, of course, we're not at 8 yet, so we don't advance it. This one, we know what it is, and it is for Mark. He's got a test 4, and each investigator who controls an innocent revealer must also perform this test. So both of them have to do this test. So Mark has a 3 intellect right now. I'm not even going to help him. That's totally fine. He can take 1 horror. It's not the end of the world. He's going to go ahead and reach into his bag, and we'll get +1. There is 1 in here. That would be pretty glorious. Nope, instead he got this heart. Let's see what the heart says. It says -4. Wow, that's a super fail. You failed and the boss is in play. He attacks you. Nope, that didn't happen. So we're going to go ahead. He's going to take 1 horror, but we also have to do this for our other character. Now, our other character has a total of, what is it, 6? 6. She's got 6 willpower. That's awesome. So she's going to draw a token. Let's see what she gets. She has got -1, so she passed. She doesn't take any damage. That's awesome. So we're going to discard this card. Now, that means that Mark is still going to have to take 1 horror. So Mark's going to go ahead and take that 1 horror from our event card, which isn't the end of the world. And now we have to draw a card for our other investigator. We have found, oh, she found the same thing. That's absolutely hilarious. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. She has to go ahead and test. Now, Mark does not have to test because he does not have any innocence. So we're going to go ahead and do our bag again. Now, she has 6, as we found out last time. So let's see how we do. We got a -3. -3 is not enough to pass the test. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, so she's going to have to take 1 horror. Actually, I don't think so. I think her innocents take a horror. Each investigator who fails takes 1 horror, which must be assigned to an innocent if able. So we're going to have to assign that to the innocent. Oh, that was terrible. Now, these innocents only have 2 horrors, so she's already half dead. And now we're going to move back into our investigator's turn. I should have turned both of these up, but I forgot to. We're going to have her go first. I've got a plan. She is going to use her intellect to attempt to gain both of these clues. So she needs a shroud value of 1, and she's got an intellect of 3 right now. So she's going to go ahead and reach into this bag and see what she gets. She needs to get something good. Come on, we need to get something. Let's do it. We got -1, so that's enough. So we have 1 clue. I'm just going to put that there right now. We're going to shake this up again, and we're going to do it again. Come on. We need to get that clue. Let's get it. We got a 0. Perfect. Oh, that's so good. We got 2 clues. And now for our 3rd action, we're going to spend 1 of these clues to go ahead and reveal that. But first, I think there's some cards I want to play. She's going to go ahead and play Forbidden Knowledge. And it's going to go out there and it gets 4 secrets. Now, I don't think these are the same because it doesn't say charges. It says secrets. So I'm going to gain 4. And at any time, I can take, 1 horror to gain 1 of these as a resource. So if I ever see a card I really want to play, that's the way to do it. Now that we've played our card, now I'm going to go ahead and discard 1 of these clue tokens to go ahead and see what this is. Flip them over. Come on, another innocent. Oh no, it's a Don Lireo. Oh boy, this is bad. 4 health, 4 attack. Oh, this is a hunter too, so it's going to keep following us. While resolving the hunter keyword, the Don, his location is connected to the location in the counterclockwise direction as well as the clockwise direction. Oh, wow. So he can actually move in either direction, this way or that way. That's terrible. All right. And he automatically attacks me. The back of this card says the event attacks each investigator at its location, and sadly, he's going to do 2 damage to her. Oh my gosh, she does not need to be taking damage. So she's going to take the 2 damage. She's down to 4. Wow, how fast that goes. I could give one to her, but it would kill her off, and I don't want to do that. Okay, at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and, well, no, we're going to wait and save this for near the end. Now she's done. I'm going to move this over to her player card. It shouldn't actually be on her card like this. It should be on her player card. I just had it there for the time being. He's going to move into this square. And the problem is it's going to cost him an extra action to do it. I lose 1 action. So he's already taken 2 actions to do that. And I think what he's going to do, instead of actually fighting this guy, he's going to go ahead and engage him. He's going to go ahead and take an action to engage that character off of her. And that's going to go ahead and finish his turn. Now we're going to go ahead. Now we have to go into the monster's turn for the first time because there's a monster on the board. So he is going to go ahead and move. The hunter keyword is going to move toward the nearest investigator. He's not going to do that. He's already at the closest place. None each engaged enemy attacks if able. So he is going to attack him because he's engaged. And of course, our Don does 2 damage to Mark. Oh, it's terrible. So he's going to go ahead and take 2 damage. I'm going to put it here. That's just what I'm going to do. I could put it on the True Grit card. But again, I can use that if she ever gets attacked too. For the time being, I'm going to do this. Now, of course, after damage is placed on a card you control, draw a card. So I get to draw a card. He has found dodge. Oh, where were you this just a little while ago? That would have been so good. All right, so he's got his dodge card. That's pretty good. 3/6. Now, at this point, we're going to continue on down our turn cycle here. We've gone ahead and gone to the enemy phase. I'm going to reset our action cards. I'm also going to unexhaust all our cards, and we're going to each grab a resource, and we're going to draw a card. So he's going to draw yet another card, and he's got Unexpected Courage. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Max 1 committed per skill test. So he's got almost 8 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 7 cards, so he can't draw anymore. Or if he gets over 8 cards, he has to discard down. He's done. We're going to move into our other character's turn. And she's going to gain 1 resource. Remember when I said, you know what, I think I'll use this later? Totally forgot to use it. Remember, next time, I'm just going to use it when I can. We got another card. What's this? Drawn to the Flame. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. Then discover 2 clues at your location. Oh, this is going to be perfect for when I can't actually make the test to find the clues. Awesome. Now that brings us to the Mythos phase. So we're going to go ahead and put a horror up here. We got 3. We only get 8. And now we're going to go ahead and assign some of these cards. I wish I would have been able to look at this one, but I totally forgot. So this is going to be Mark's card, and he has found Mass Hysteria. It's a peril, revelation. You must either take 2 damage or take each mass carnival goer, shuffle them so the investigators do not know which is which, and place 1 in each location, starting with the location clockwise from you. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. I think, let's see here. You take each mass carnival goer, shuffle them so the investigators do not know which is which, and place 1 in each location, starting at the location clockwise from you. Oh, that's going to be terrible. All right, so we're going to have to do that. So it talks about the masked carnival goers. That's all of these. So we're going to shuffle these up, and we're going to put them out again. We have to start with the place clockwise from us, right? Starting with the location clockwise from you. So I can't put 1 here, but I have to put 1 here, 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 and I believe right here. Nowhere on this card does it say I can't put 1. It just, during the setup, I wasn't allowed to place 1 there. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 there. I believe that's what we do. All right, that is the end of that event. Now we have 1 more event we have to draw, and it is Acrid Miasma. Hazard, revelation, attached to the nearest location in the clockwise direction with no miasma. Forced. After an investigator enters attached location, he must test or she tests willpower 2. If failed, that investigator must either take 1 damage or 1 horror, or resolve the hunter keyword on each enemy in play. Oh, yuck. All right, we're going to attach that then to right here, because that's the clockwise card from us. So the canal side has a mass goer and this miasma as well, because we're right over here in the bridge. So that's how we're going to be able to do that. It says clockwise from us, I believe, right? Clockwise. Let's make sure I did it right. It says attached to location, the clockwise direction. All right, yep. So right there, awesome. All right, now it's our turn. But before we begin our investigators' turns, we're going to stop for now. This has been absolutely awesome. We've only made a little bit around the Carnevale, and our doom is getting up there pretty close to the end of our first agenda. So we have to start moving a little bit faster. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next part of this playthrough comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. And if you're excited to see if our two investigators can make it through the Carnevale of Horrors, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop.